I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
Welcome back to the Quarter Mile Podcast. We're still rocking the Diesel verse. We made it through XXX last week. Before that, we did Man Apart. Before that, we did the Chronicles of Riddick.
We have.
And now we're back in XXX. Although this is not pornography, if that's what you were Googling.
Sorry, folks. Gotta do another search for that one.
XXX, the State of the Union. We were covering. And in addition to being here, as always, with my lovely host, CJ. Well, now we're doing CJ.
I'm lovely, thank you. I've been doing good. Still celebrating the birthday, Gemini season.
Listen,
Hey.
she's a 24-hour, 365 days a year birthday
I
celebration.
thought you were going to say 24 years old. I was like, I believe that.
Yeah, 24 years. And ladies and gentlemen, you can already tell because you've heard his voice. We have a repeat guest, one of our most common repeat guests, maybe one of our first reoccurring guests. One of the fan favorites, if we're being honest.
Wow. Cool.
Zach Williams is back in the house.
Hey, y'all. How's it going?
You all know Zach from his work with us on Torque. You know Zach from his work when he's a Vin Diesel impersonator on Fast 9. You may know Zach as a gym creep. He is a fellow.
One of the proudest roles of my career, easily.
Did you hear about the reels that we created with our different?
I've seen them. The new Gym Creep universe expands, just like the Fast and Furious.
Exactly, absolutely. There's definitely one is inspired by the other, but I don't. There's still. It's only in talking phases of the season 2 of Gym Creeps.
Really?
But in my talking phases and planning,
in my talking.
In my planning that has not actually been made objective yet, I love the idea of you, the actual Gym Creep, making an appearance in it. And
I'm there, man.
Watching your character interact with the other.
Get me in that writer's room. Let's make something happen.
I think that's my. Listen, if you're listening to this, this isn't 100% canon yet. It's all just speculation. But I feel like if there's a season 2 of Gym Creeps, the Gym Creep has to make an appearance.
I got to get out there.
Yeah.
So
I think be the main Gym.
I think so. I mean,
have you seen his work?
Yeah,
he's pretty creepy. He's pretty. I mean, it works. It's
every now and then you find a role that's just more you than the character, and you get to live inside that place.
I felt like that about my lonely character. I was like, I don't know where he starts and I end. But we're so glad to have Zach back.
Yeah, man, great to be here.
How is just what's
going on?
How's life been since Torque?
Oh God,
right?
Shallow, lacking. There's just so little stimulation. Life's been good, man. I'm trying to think. When was it that we recorded for Torque? Was that like March, April?
March, maybe April. I have no idea.
Okay.
Before we've just been with Vin Diesel movies lately. So.
I've been thinking this since we reviewed Torqued, and really since I watched XXX State of the Union. I've had a thought that I need to go through like a classic catalog of cinema just to offset the amount of Fast and Furious films that I've put into my brain. Because I watched State of the Union, and I was like, it's not a bad movie. I was surprisingly coherent. And then I went on Rotten Tomatoes, and it was 17%, and I was like, uh-oh. I think my sensibilities are getting buried.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might be.
A little bit.
I tell you what.
It's going to rub off at some point.
We got a few reviews we'll share later. But the funny thing about this movie was how many passionately bad reviews State of the Union got.
Oh, I could definitely see how someone would like be angry after watching this film.
I'm not gonna lie, when I go through and I pick reviews out, I pick the funny ones, but I also pick the short ones. If it's like a whole like narrative, I don't want to read that on this podcast. People don't want to listen to that.
No,
it's a lot of words.
And there were so many of those passionate chapter.
People had a lot to say.
Oh my god! And a lot of 1-star reviews. Well, 1-star essays written about.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. But here's the funny thing about Zach and this podcast, and he was last with us when we reviewed Torque, which was an Ice Cube Also,
Yeah,
Ice Cube was
Torque
also
an
in
Ice
that
Cube.
movie.
Yep, he was.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so now I think I think maybe our new trend is we bring Zach back for every Ice Cube movie.
Absolutely.
I'm here for it. I mean, if we make it all the way to 21 Jump Street, then yeah, I'll be sure to come back. I don't know. I'm sure he's got more of a career beyond that, but yeah, Ice Cube. He's a great character actor. I'll say that.
He is.
He really is.
He's the same character in every act in every role.
Yeah, he's just
really
him. He's
is.
just Ice Cube. The way I'm Jim Creep and you're lonely. He's just that guy.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah.
But
Cool and angry.
we said in the last movie that we talked about him with, we were like, why is Ice Cube so angry? But I noticed in this movie a few times he smiled.
He does he has a little bit of emotional depth.
Smile.
Yeah, there was
in this film.
Yeah, we saw a happier Ice Cube, a gentler.
Yeah, and you hardly ever, unless he's. I can count on one hand how many times I've seen Ice Cube smile, and it will not add up.
Yeah, there was one time in this movie where he just had a genuine
And I mean,
smile.
in person and on screen.
And I was like, is that acting? Is that not? Is
I feel like whatever it is, when I watched this movie, the thing I noticed, like, it was small pieces. It seems like every scene of dialogue, it was just one line at a time. And I think there's a bucket of just footage with the director. Cut! Trying to get them on the same page.
Right.
All right, Ice, we're going to try it again. Smile this time. All right, we got the smile. Moving on.
There we go.
Yeah.
And Ice Cube's like, I need 5. That was hard.
I'll take a minute after that one.
All right, so we'll get into a movie overview real quick of XXX : State of the Union. So this movie came out in 2005 with a budget of $60 million. Now, how much would you guys guess that it made? It came out with a budget of $60 million.
I read it on Wikipedia, so I don't feel like I should weigh in.
Okay, well then I'm going to do it because I did not read it, and I'm going to go with. You said 60 million?
Yeah, a budget of 60 million.
Then it came in 100.
Close, sort of lower. It was 71 mil. And what's interesting is only 26 of that was in U.S. The rest was in Canada. So this movie,
Canadians dug this film?
Canadians were into it. Wow.
I know why.
But why is that?
Do
A
tell.
lot of comedians in this movie.
There was.
That's true.
A lot of comedians made cameos.
A lot of comedians make it.
Were they Canadian comedians or just?
No, they're just good, funny comedians.
Yes.
Yeah, Canadians love comedy.
Yeah, you had Bruce.
Yep.
You got,
I love that. Those two guys. I forgot about it later, but those two guys were one of my favorite. The bus scene and
Can I tell you, Bruce is probably one of the. I need to open up for him. When he found out that I was doing comedy, he was like, "Ain't you sweet?" Like he's the nicest, not one of the nicest.
He's got a great reputation.
He's the nicest.
I think that showed up on film. He just has like a personality where even him driving the truck is just interesting. You want to watch him.
I mean, just to sit back and just listen to him talk about comedy or just listen to him talk about the movies that he's done. And keep in mind, Bruce has been referenced in rap songs.
I did not know that.
Yes,
His reputation precedes him.
Yes, I did. I
do, and you just don't realize that you've get crunk with it. Get loose with it. Like Show said, let Bruce hit it.
You know that's true.
Bruce.
Come on, you know this.
You know this. If you know that, but shout out to Bruce. I'm gonna make Drew. Drew is going to know this song.
I'm gonna. At one point,
your walkout music when you go on stage.
I love Bruce. At one point, someone because this was 2005. At one point in this movie, someone unironically said, "Let's get crunk."
They did. They did.
And like I was like, "Oh, that's no, that's like how that was dialogue for this guy to speak."
Someone wrote that and said, "All right, we got it. That scene is done now."
Yeah, and
I did.
And
as
horrible.
Let's get drunk.
As we talk about the
You
cast,
could not say that.
Oh, I can't.
No, you can.
Oh,
I'm just
okay,
saying,
okay.
like you can't write that in a script. Like you have to.
Yeah. No, you need to
Unless it's XXX
cite your sources.
Unless it's a triple X.
Then it's fine. Yeah.
It is interesting. We
70
about Bruce and how that character, like you, even that little bit of time you saw him and you're like, man, that guy's a story. That is something this movie did. Dare I say, well? There's so many random characters that, and that actually will be part of my best bits later. But like that have like way big of a backstory for the one moment that we see them in.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of context, not a lot of action.
Yeah. And then you never see him again. You're like, okay, whatever happened? You know, like what happened to that guy? You know? Like,
Yeah. There were several people that I was like, oh, hopefully I'll see them again before the film. No, they're
Right.
dead. They're gone.
So
They got their check. They're out of there.
Yeah, absolutely.
our main cast, of course, we had Ice Cube playing Darius Stone.
Mhm.
We had Samuel L. Jackson playing Samuel L. Jackson. I'm just kidding.
Of course he did.
Agent Augustus Eugene Gibbons.
I mean, you just cannot beat a name like Augustus.
I mean, like, and honestly, he didn't have as much time in this one as he did in the first one. But this character is awesome. We talked about it last week how this was almost like his tryout to become Nick Fury.
I was gonna say it's a precursor to that role, just like the behind the scenes in charge guy. Yeah.
But one of my favorite things about this movie is we got so much more backstory about Gibbons, and in the connection with the plot with Stone and the villain and everything like that, you're learning more about Gibbons to the point where halfway into the movie, I was like, I feel like this is more about Samuel L. Jackson.
He's the guy in charge.
Yeah.
I mean, XXX is interchangeable.
Yeah.
I would definitely agree with that because, well, never mind. You just took it out of my mouth because he's the one setting the rules, doing this.
Yeah. He's
the puppet master.
Yeah. And he's the continuation. He's the continuation from the last movie.
Yeah, because he's the one that
he's the through line.
He's the through line. Yeah, he's the one that. I mean, if it wasn't for him, then we wouldn't have Xander.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, in this movie, we don't have Xander.
We don't.
No,
he got his old buddy.
This one out.
He got
his old buddy.
According to the plot, he got blown up in Budapest or something.
In Bora Bora, of all places. I'm surprised. I'm happy they went with a real place this time, as opposed to Fast 9 just inventing places that don't exist.
They did that so that they didn't feel like they were like putting down any country or city.
As if any diplomat would watch Fast and the Furious 9 and be like, "Wait a minute, they're talking about us."
Czechoslovakia.
Yeah.
They Prague. They were in Prague.
Yeah, it was. Did anyone else? I'll keep talking about the cast here in a second. But did anyone else feel like maybe this movie was like they were a little jaded by Vin Diesel at this point? Because several times they're like, he died, he's dead. There's actually a deleted scene that didn't make it to the movie, but like, it's why it's called a deleted scene. That was an unnecessary statement. Anyway, of a bald man blowing up and like pieces going everywhere. So
they went that far.
I did not know.
Yeah. But what's interesting is next week we'll be talking about the third XXX where Vin Diesel does return. So.
Of course he comes back because the second one made a bunch of money.
Right, absolutely. So anyway, back to the cast. Villain-wise, we had William Dafoe as General George Deckard, and I think William Dafoe could maybe go down in history as one of the best villain actors.
Oh, he kills it, man. There's some moments in the script where you see him like acting his best with crappy dialogue.
Yeah.
But he acts his way through it. Like he's believable. I have Ice Cube, Samuel L. Jackson, and Deckard because I couldn't write Willem Dafoe because he's that good of a character actor.
Right, absolutely.
He could embody the character.
He could be anyone at all. And then a lesser known role, which he didn't even get much like on the IMDb page, was Michael Roof as Agent Toby. He was the geeky white agent that was working.
Oh, the nerd.
Oh, the nerd.
He was in the first one. He was in the second one. And I liked his character. Like I liked it.
He's a good sidekick.
Yeah, I would have loved a little bit more. Like there should have been if they wanted to add like feelings and emotion to this movie, which I get that they probably did. Like,
that's chick stuff, dude. We're not doing that here.
They were like, we don't want to do that. But what they could have done is they could have added a scene because he seemed to be the only one torn up that Xander Cage was dead.
Yeah, the only one that cared.
Yeah. And at one point, Ice Cube could have like somehow consoled him.
Or I thought maybe it was going to be the trope of like, oh, the buddy gets kidnapped or like he's held hostage and like it's emotional leveraging. Nope. They never touched on any of that.
Yeah. And if we're going to take a real dark turn before we get to trivia.
Love it.
But when I saw this Michael Roof guy, I was like, why isn't he credited? Why isn't there a picture of him? Why isn't it? So I looked him up. Turns out he passed away on June 9th, 2009. And it was a suicide. He hung himself and planned it out to leave himself in like an elementary school.
Oh my God.
In Snellville, Georgia.
And this is the guy who played which character?
Yeah,
the sidekick?
The sidekick, yeah. So apparently he had a lot of depression.
He did a good job hiding that darkness because it did not show up.
And apparently he was pretty concerned about money issues and stuff like that, and just
jeez. Yikes. All right, that's fun.
And in addition to the darkness of that, the thing that really stuck out to me is in the past month, I've been to Snellville twice.
Wow.
No, keep your sunny disposition about you.
I mean, Jesus.
So here's some trivia just about the movie. Vin Diesel and director Rob Cohen, they were from the first movie, signed on for the film 2 months before it started. Both ended up leaving the project. The former stated that he hated the script.
I can see it.
So Vin Diesel, Part of me is like, if Vin Diesel says the script is dumb,
Yeah. If he's saying no, you got a bad script.
You got a bad script.
But another, perhaps more diplomatic reasoning as to why Vin Diesel wasn't into it. Vin Diesel was busy with The Pacifier, which came out in 2005, which was why he was absent for the film. Is another thing I heard. So either, both, or neither of those are true.
So Pacifier, Vin Diesel thought was a better script than this XXX State of the Union. Got it.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
I'm leaving this podcast. I am quitting this podcast.
She didn't feel the script was good enough. She was like, nope. She's going to go start a Pacifier podcast.
Love it. Love it.
And then here's another scene or another
I need to
tribute.
hear this because you are giving me everything, and I'm keep going.
Okay, you're welcome. In the initial NSA break-in scenes and some other scenes later, the music, Morse code can be heard spelling out XXX2 several times.
That is the nerdiest.
No, that's a good fun fact.
Isn't that?
That's good.
That is so dumb. And also, like, when people are like,
sound designer taking their job way too seriously.
people are like, there's no thoughts put into these movies. Actually,
There is.
Well, what kills me is
There
the
is.
idea that
There
any
is
audience member would be sitting there like, wait a minute. That's XXX State of the Union
Yeah.
too, dude.
but like when you look it up, they give you the like writing of the Morse as if anyone's gonna be like, oh, that's
Just to verify it, just in case you want to match your hunch
yeah,
of Morse code
absolutely.
in 2009.
So another trivia fact: Xander Cage's phrase from XXX, "The things I'm gonna do for my country," is echoed by Darius in one scene when he takes a shower at Charlie's house.
Nice.
Right, when she's trying to seduce him,
Yep.
but he wants a fries and shake.
Jesus
Yep.
Christ, I'm so sick of seducing.
Yeah, we were talking about it in our last week. We're so tired of like the romance in these action movies or lack thereof.
Oh, it's
The attempt-
terrible,
the
man.
attempt
It's
at romance.
cheesy.
Yeah, I do like that phrase came up in both movies, and I can only hope that it's said again in the third movie.
I'm sure they will. I mean, why make a third one if you're not going to call back that awesome line?
Right? Yeah, absolutely. There's some movie reviews. Like I said, there's a lot of in-depth movie reviews about the hate for this movie, and I didn't feel like reading all of them. So I'll be honest, I didn't. This is a podcast, not an audiobook, you know. So instead, I brought us one bad movie review, but I also brought us one debatably good movie review. And you'll see what I mean when I say debatably. So the bad review, it says, thanks to the woke movement, this kind of quality is what we're gonna have to get used to. The action kept me going through it. Oh yeah, Ice Cube don't perform any stunts at all until you start working out at a gym. You're in bad shape. Even editing couldn't help you.
I love that someone's blaming this on wokeness, this movie. Because if there's anything I thought when I was watching XXX State of the Union was, this is too woke. They're too socially conscious.
Wait, what year did this come out?
This movie came out in 2005.
Why was this
2005.
I remember looking back, and the review was just a year ago.
Okay, but they're using woke, and the movie came out in 2005. Technically, what they should be using was affirmative action.
Yeah,
They're going to
If
use
that's
the
their
slurs.
issue
If
with it,
that's
yeah.
their issue, so because the slurs have changed.
yeah.
Yeah, no, you got to use different terminology.
He's looking back to 2005 with a 2024 mindset.
Right.
I do love that almost 20 years later, he's still like, oh, people got to know about this movie
Yeah.
and how wokeness is ruining Hollywood.
Right. He points to this as the movie.
This is where it all started.
I
The
can
second
guarantee you.
in the XXX trilogy.
I just want to know, like, once he saw Ice Cube, did he watch the rest of the movie?
He says the action.
Or did he just
kept him
pause it
moving.
on Ice Cube's face
Yeah.
and start writing the
And
review?
start writing the review.
Possibly, yeah.
Man, what a weird thing to be prejudiced about.
That's crazy, man. You got 20-year-old prejudice that you're going to drag up.
Yeah.
That's
No, we'll bring it back into a more affirming place. This is a good review. He says, to me, I call this film realistic fiction, and I really like realistic fiction 110% better than Marvel and DC. I like this guy saw this movie, and he's like, it's gonna happen.
I like that, and I also like that he thinks he invented the term realistic fiction. That's been a literary term for years.
I mean, decades.
You can't just
Nope.
actually. I would
So
call
what
this.
does he think? Hello?
Yeah, everything in this movie is plausible. Everything's realistic from when he jumps the boat out of the river up onto the
Of course,
bridge. to when he jumps and just catches himself on a helicopter, jumping out of prison.
The diving through explosions.
Yeah. No, it's believable the same way in Fast and Furious. They'll like point to a whiteboard with a bunch of numbers on it and be like, you see the math? It's right there.
If they say it's mathematically true, then it has to be.
Right. They're just summarizing for time or whatever.
Yeah. Well, you all who have been with us for a while, and especially maybe you're some of like Zach's biggest fans, and that's why you're tuning into this episode. You know that whenever Zach's around, usually we
you laughed at that, CJ.
No, I'm laughing at the fact that what you just said. I'm just. He's like, you bitch.
She's like, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the words.
As fans, that's ridiculous. Ice Cube jumping the boat on the bridge is more believable than that.
I mean, it's not.
Yeah, we have a tradition, and it's usually we give the guest a plot summary to read. But whenever Zach Williams is on our podcast,
I like to write my own.
He writes his own, and it is never disappointed. And
I'm ready.
I want to give a special shout out to him too, though, because I forgot to text him to ask him to do this. And so when I was watching the movie last night, I was like, crap, I guess I'll just get.
I just assumed that's what you expected me, Drew.
He came above and beyond. He'd make a good XXX.
I don't know about that. I can read.
I like that. Can you though?
Pretty well. I can read my handwriting. Yeah, we got a few pages to get through. So should we dive in?
Let's dive in like Ice Cube at the end of the movie.
God. So we open on a farmhouse, and then from there it goes 0 to 60 real fast because we have these tech ninjas. And they're attacking an underground base under the farmhouse. They're attacking Samuel L. Jackson with these CGI drones. Mm-hmm. That was cool. Little future sequence. Samuel L. Jackson and a nerd, they get away in a chrome spy car GTO. Samuel L. and the nerd decide they need a new XXX. And we learn that XXX is basically the Dread Pirate Roberts. Right?
All right. You know what? What I'm not going to do is sit here for this. What I'm not going to
That's what he is, though.
What I'm not going to do.
Like, you just put on the XXX tattoo, and then you're the new guy.
Yeah.
It's a rotating door of ne'er-do-wells that are trying to turn their life around.
That's one of my favorite words in the world.
Ne'er-do-well.
Might be the first time I've heard it. It's a good one.
Oh, my. I love ne'er-do-well.
It's a great old-timey term. Hooligans, rapscallions.
Oh, rapscallion.
Yeah. So then we find our favorite rapscallion, Ice Cube, is in jail.
Yeah.
Just walking through jail.
There you go.
Doing him. And then we get the title sequence, which I don't know if you guys caught this. In the title sequence, when it gives the XXX logo, the movie says XXX The Next Level.
Right.
It says that in the title sequence.
That was the original title for it. They changed it in the US.
They just never told the graphics guy like, oh, you need to update. Yeah. Because I had to like pause the movie. Like, am I watching the right XXX?
Yeah, I didn't notice that, but it makes sense because in everywhere other than the US, it's
XXX The Next Level.
Because the State of the Union,
that's an American term.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that threw me for a loop. That to me, like from the title sequences, it was already getting lazy.
You're like, already.
So then, after the title sequence, we jump to the White House, and the president is informed of attack by Willem Dafoe, the Deckard character, and then he walks into the Oval Office and declares, "This is no longer a budget meeting. We're going to talk about national security," and no one leaves. No one like, oh, well, I guess this meeting isn't for me, and leaves. Like, they just all folded their papers away. Like, I guess we're going to listen to this now.
That's right.
And then they proceed to discuss national security. And the president's like, we have a State of the Union this week. So now we've introduced the title of the movie, and he creates a sense of urgency. So that was good script writing. Samuel L. Jackson.
Say that.
Yeah, I'm not lying to you.
But you know how, like, okay, have you ever seen, the drink at the store, the Pure, and it says Pure on the Pure, it's a juice, and it says Pure.
Uh-huh.
Did you know it's not Pure? It's Mr. Pure.
No, I didn't know that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I never knew that thing was like on the bottle. It says Mr. Pure.
See, and I feel like that's a similar thing to what happened with this movie, because what I read in the Wikipedia said there were two like drastically different scripts, and I thought they had just decided like, oh, we're going to go with this script, and they just never told the marketing or graphics department.
I'm agreeing with you on that.
Yeah, there seems to be some miscommunication.
Kind of like how Little Mermaid didn't change. No, they did change their graphic.
They did.
They had to change it from the penis to the
On the front of the.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the Disney cover.
Disney cover. Yeah.
So Samuel L. Jackson, he goes to recruit Ice Cube. He goes to the prison, and we learn that they share a military history, and their last mission didn't go well. Samuel L. Jackson tells Ice Cube he's going to bust him out of jail. Then it cuts to the base back on the farmhouse, and the NSA is after Samuel L. Jackson.
I also want to interject that something you said at the last plot review with Torque and on F9 was all these movies seem to start out on a farmhouse, and so far your logic hasn't been wrong.
See, and here's my thinking. I think this was like originally going to be another Fast and Furious film script because there's so many scenes with cars.
Yeah.
Just automobile worship. And then I feel like they just hired a guy to like fill in the blanks on the script, and he just wanted to do a spy thriller. So we get this weird Frankenstein of a movie. That's what it feels like.
I don't know where the president came from, but keep going.
Yeah. So then we cut to they're going to break him out of jail. So Ice Cube beats up multiple military personnel and ascends the roof of a maximum security military prison before jumping to catch a ride on Samuel L. Jackson's helicopter.
Realistic.
Yes, because because that's how you break out of jail.
We were watching the movie, and Merritt was like, he could have done this the whole time. Like, because he beats up several guards and makes his way up to the roof, like, no trouble at all.
Also, can we just talk about the guy who was about to do his job and shoot him, and then someone was like, don't.
Yeah. His buddy's like, where's he going to go? And then a helicopter sneaks up on the prison, as helicopters are notorious for doing. No one saw it.
And that's why he said, I'm so sorry about what's about to happen. He could,
Yeah.
I think that one officer needs to kind of get fired for not doing his job.
Wait, he didn't get fired?
Yeah, definitely the guy who like stopped him from shooting a prisoner, but
don't do it.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Why waste the bullet? Okay, so then this Ice Cube basically communicates like, I've been in prison. There's something every man who's been locked up wants to do. I want a fries and shake. And then they cut to him just going to town.
Yes, very calmly. Yes. Yeah, just this is who I am.
Yeah, I would say making love to that burger, fries and shake.
It wasn't even like he was eating it. He was just like rubbing it in his face.
Yeah, it was quite the display.
Yeah.
And then he just declares himself leader of the group. He's like, you college boy, you ain't in charge. And like Samuel L. Jackson, he tells him off. So now he's the leader of the group now.
Because why would he not be?
Yeah, no one had.
He's the guy. Yeah, he was just in prison.
Yeah, nobody was like, wait, hold on. Okay, he said,
Samuel L. Jackson's
because he's such an
style. He's like, okay,
because he's such an alpha male. There's a word.
That is a word.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it wasn't as like. What was the first one we threw out there that I never?
Ne'er-do-well.
Yeah. Oh no, nothing is as good as ne'er-do-well or rapscallion.
Those are great words.
Hooligan.
That should be the next one. XXX rapscallion crew.
Oh gosh, that'd be great.
They could all be British.
British kids.
British kids, yeah, little pickpockets.
And the Sorcerer's Stone.
Yes.
Is that a Don McLean song?
Yes, Drew.
Yeah. Okay, so then now that Ice Cube's in charge, they go to a chop shop in an economically challenged neighborhood. That's the nicest way to say that.
They in the hood. What he's trying to say is they in the hood.
They're in the hood.
They in the hood.
And there they meet Xzibit. And he's there pimping people's rides. And he's working in a chop shop that seemingly only employs women in skirts.
Right.
Like they're all dressed like they're going out to a nightclub, but they're like
working on cars,
creating sparks, working on cars. Which side note about that? How did Xzibit get passed over for the lead in this role? He has an X in his name.
Yeah.
That's true.
I feel so bad for him. Like, can you imagine the call that he got of like, hey, Xzibit, we want you to be part of this movie, XXX.
Well, we just want you to pimp their ride.
Right. You're just in there a couple of scenes. No. It's not about you. No, sorry.
So I'm Xzibit, but I can't be in
XXX.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think that's messed up because he has some stuff under his belt by then, right?
Yeah, he's an actor. I mean, I think he had the show at that time.
Yeah.
So clearly he's got a persona.
And when you saw him in the movie, you're like, he acted well.
I think he smiles too much though. Ice Cube, they have to get him to smile.
Yeah.
They have to get him to stop smiling.
Yeah.
And it's a tougher sell.
Yeah.
So you need them both. I mean, it's a sequel, so you need two XXXs.
Mm-hmm. You got to balance them out.
1.5
the yin and yang.
Yeah. Because
Yin
by
and
that time, Exhibit
Yang.
had at least a couple of credits under his belt.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. No, he was comfortable. Like he was a good actor, but again, very smiley. So then Ice Cube goes to find his old chop shop girlfriend. But she's a successful custom car designer now. Like
Yeah.
she's legit. And she wants nothing to do with him, but agrees to help in exchange for the GTO. And that, similar to Torque, I've learned that as woke as this film is, it doesn't matter what kind of dirtbag criminal you are. The moment you show up to your ex-girlfriend's new place of business and their new life, they don't care.
Nope.
They don't. They're willing to overlook all mistakes. They're going to take you back, even though you still have nothing to offer.
I mean, this woman had an amazing life for herself. She had built in 9 years. She's got all these fancy cars. She's a businesswoman. She's killing it.
She had it put together.
And as soon as Ice Cube walks back into her life,
just immediately crumbles.
You know who that woman was? Do you know the actor's name?
I don't. I did when I looked it up, but I don't remember. Who is he? Is this another Korean whatever from Man Apart situation?
I'm surprised you love music.
Okay. Who is
Marvin Gaye's daughter.
I did not know that. That's really
I wouldn't
cool.
have known.
Nona Gay.
Huh.
Nona Gay.
Does she do a lot? Like this,
She's been in a couple of movies.
She looked familiar.
Mhm.
I couldn't like
That's
place
Nona.
where I've seen her before.
That's Nona.
Okay.
Huh.
That's Nona. That's Marvin Gaye's daughter.
She did all right. The chemistry of her and Ice Cube.
Here's the
weird.
thing: Ice Cube cannot have chemistry with women
Why do you think that is?
because he just doesn't feel like it.
He's too aggressive.
No, he's not aggressive at all. He's been with the same woman since I don't know for how long. He's been with his
Oh, in real life.
in real life. He's been with the same woman since
Okay.
today. Today was a good day.
So he's just a man of integrity.
He's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
he's
That's what it
just
sounds
not
like.
going. He's just like,
Okay.
I love you. That should be enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that reads. But
Whereas some men their love language is a touch, a caress. His is you should know it. That's his love language. His love language is
That's accurate. Yeah.
yeah. Trust me.
trust me.
Just trust me.
Okay,
That's it.
that's it.
All right.
Like I believe you. So yeah.
Yeah. So they agree to trade the GTO for like a place to crash. Samuel L. Jackson tells Ice Cube the plan to recover files from the farm bunker. And then cut to Ice Cube's outside the house, and the sidekick's like, "Oh, we need to go in subtle, whatever." No, not his style. Real quick action sequence: rocket to car, rappel, hard drive, running, hopping fences, boat, explosion, nerd getting chased by cop cars, and then Ice Cube jumps the boat onto the bridge, and now Ice Cube's driving.
Yeah.
That all happens in like 7 minutes. It's
That's
just
a cool scene.
it's a crazy action sequence where he literally jumps it over, I guess, a ramp truck that's just hanging out.
He
in the middle of
balanced
the
the
road.
ramp. Realistic fiction. He was able to get it onto the ramp.
Totally believable.
Jump in.
And then we see pictures of Ice Cube, and we learn that the NSA is now learning who Ice Cube is and connecting him to Samuel L. Jackson. Side note: you didn't cover the character of the NSA agent Kyle Steele.
Yeah, was it Kyle Steele? Yeah,
He was the guy.
Yeah,
was
he was the main guy.
Yeah.
who, like, ends up-
Well,
I don't know the actor's name.
Um,
I was just it occurred to me the names. There's like a common theme. Maybe I'm reaching, but
you're not.
Oliver
I know where you're going.
Stone, Kyle Steele,
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Hart, Pettibone. I mean, it's all phallic. Just
Oh, you are a smart
That's
cookie.
fun.
okay.
Come on,
so-
reading through the
so
lines.
At least I'm not alone in that. All right, good deal. That's validating.
That's fun.
That makes me feel good now that I realize that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun. Okay, keep going.
So NSA Samuel L. Jackson goes home and is ambushed by Deckard, who reveals his plan for a military coup and apparently kills Samuel L. Jackson in a house fire.
Yeah.
And then this was just a side note, on the theme of like made up places. The reporter who's reporting Samuel L. Jackson's death, she goes, we're news coming out of Chevy Chase, Maryland. And I had to look up
Is that
whether or
real
not
place?
that's a real place.
Huh.
And it's apparently not at all related to Chevy Chase. He's not named after the town. The town's not named after him.
Huh.
It's just this crazy coincidence that Chevy Chase is the name of a place in Maryland. and they decided to use that for this film. But
Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
Chase, Maryland.
She's fact checking you. Keep going.
No, I'm not. I just need to see exactly what this place is. I would never. Now that's something that you can't make that up.
No, but it's so weird that someone, when they were writing this movie, they're
Of
like,
all the cities
"We're in Maryland. Should we say that
that murder took place.
that murder took place?"
Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase.
Okay.
So on the hard drive, Ice Cube finds pictures on hidden film. They're now looking for Charlie. So they go to Samuel L. Jackson's funeral and they see that Charlie is a blonde woman. That's a big surprise.
And never in the entire movie do they explain Charlie's significance to this plot.
Wow.
Yeah, no, they kind of, I guess they breezed over it.
Yeah.
Because, she's just.
My theory is there's a significant deleted scene or something, but like, because they were like, Charlie, that's someone we should look for. And then they're like, oh, it's her. And then we never know
what her connection is or how she got it. Yeah, no, it's just a plot hole. So
cool.
Ice Cube confronts Charlie at a nice restaurant, and then an NRA version of Stephen Miller shows up, and Ice Cube,
Get out.
you know what I'm talking about. He had like the crazy ball,
Oh,
big
Jesus.
head.
Yeah. Another example of he gets so much backstory for that short little time. I was just at this thing and all this.
Oh,
threw me-
Jesus.
What threw me off about this scene was Ice Cube when he's confronted by the NRA dude, he immediately switches to like this Southern accent.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm a Southern Baptist preacher and does like the craziest Southern accent
Yeah.
to sell this guy on it. It felt like it was AI.
Right.
I was watching it and it
Like,
felt
am I watching a commercial for another movie?
yeah, like I couldn't. His
I gotta
mouth
look at him.
didn't match the sounds coming out of it. It was weird.
No.
But yeah, that was easily some of the most disturbing acting in the whole thing.
Right. By the way, if you're looking for that actor in that scene,
You already know I
had
am.
a hard time finding him. So good luck.
Damn it.
So
You know what? Could it because he's uncredited?
Was uncredited.
he had lines though.
I know that was.
Yeah.
I was like, there were so many people that did so much less in that movie that got credits that he didn't.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Well, Charlie agrees to help Ice Cube get close to Deckard.
I will find him.
Okay.
Okay, so then we jump to like a dinner party, and Ice Cube is a waiter now, and he overhears Deckard and a general discussing the coup. Ice Cube gets recognized and flees, and Charlie takes him to her place. Ice Cube remains loyal to fries and a shake.
Because it was in and out.
Oh, there you go. That's
Was it?
Maybe
catch
that could be why.
but it's a DC thing.
That's true.
Yeah.
So then maybe it was
Wendy's. I don't know.
Oh.
Jack in the Box.
Oh.
I don't know. Could be. What I thought was interesting about this is I didn't like write down all the occurrences of it, but there was a line in this where like the security guard is like trying to find Ice Cube, and he goes like, "Oh, I'm looking for a black guy in a jacket," and someone like points to a door, and it's just a sea
A
of
bunch of black guys in a jacket.
And
I loved that.
it felt like throughout the film, Ice Cube kept having to remind everyone that he's black. Because he kept having lines where he would just like sort of nod to that. I don't know.
Like, yo, I'm black.
Yeah. Just
Like,
I don't do that because I'm black.
Dude, we know. We see you. We're watching the movie.
Don just got to say something about
Damn
it.
it, I can't find it. I'll find it.
I did like that. That was maybe the most realistic fiction part of the thing where like that was a good way to get out was instead of
Yeah, he
dressing up as like a
disappeared.
suit and tie like what she was expecting, like be like a politician, he dressed up as a waiter so that when he was escaping he was able that and the well the other when you mentioned
I'll get to the other one.
there's another thing I thought is a reoccurring XXx theme.
But the other thing that I noticed is the general that Deckard was meeting with, his name is either Pettibone or Pettibone.
Pettibone.
Who you listen to, because Ice Cube says
Pettibone.
Pettibone,
Yeah.
but Willem Dafoe says Pettibone. And I think you just had a director that didn't want to correct either of them.
It's like, okay.
It's like you're both too intimidating for me to talk to. Okay.
I think it's Pettibone.
I like Pettibone better.
I like Pettibone.
Pettibone's funnier to say. So yeah, Pettibone.
We have officially on this podcast declared
It is Pettibone.
It is
General
Pettibone.
Pettibone. So then Ice Cube, yeah, that's where he gets. So he goes back to the house with Charlie. She like kind of tries to seduce him. He's loyal to his fries and shake. So then he takes a shower and then he comes out and finds a gun on the ground and then finds General Pettibone.
I'm so sick of this man over here.
What?
It's just the way you said it. Just like this is what happened right here.
He's literally just telling us the plot.
And he just picks it up like, "What's going, Charlie? Where you at?" And then
Also, it's weird to pick up a gun on and
That's what I'm saying. Like,
weird.
that, like maybe either bring your own or like
Yeah, you're
don't.
in a strange home. Why are you picking up firearms? And
Charlie,
well,
she's so sexy.
yeah, shoot. So then he discovers General Pettibone dead in the house, and that Charlie has set him up. So she was a bad guy. She was a bad guy. An NSA agent, Kyle Steele, shows up and tries to talk to Ice Cube. Ice Cube, so he like tries to talk to him. I guess they kind of form a friendship or whatever. He leaves, and then Ice Cube throws off the guards' heat maps, like the SWAT team coming in, with microwaved meats that he just puts in a bathtub, and they go read that as a heat signature.
Are they microwave?
Yeah, it was micro. Do we think that would work?
No.
Here's a theory I have about these movies, and we'll have to confirm it next week with the third XXX. Because in the last movie, he stopped one of the villains because he identified he told them to redirect their torpedoes because he knew a man was smoking, and they were heat-seeking torpedoes. And so he's like, "Oh, just look for a heat signature. The man's got a cigarette." Yep, and that's how they stopped the scene. And in this one, he gets away with by heating up meat, and them seeing that. I think maybe the people that wrote XXX don't know how heat-seeking
and they're not going to bother to learn. I guarantee you they're not researching this.
I mean, they don't even have to research. You can just go get somebody to do it now. Like, bro, just go find someone to do. Just go.
Yeah, but that was funny.
To get anyone to fact check any of this film, it wouldn't take 10 minutes.
I mean,
I don't know. According to our good review, it was pretty realistic. So.
Pretty realistic, but too woke.
In my life. In 2025.
So he distracts him with the microwave meat and hiding in a freezer, and he escapes in a SWAT uniform.
Of course.
Another Hitman instance where he's changing costumes and whatnot. So Ice Cube realizes that Deckert is using the general's funeral as a cover for the coup, tells the nerd non-verbally to hack into the Department of Defense.
Yeah, that's what got me the
You want me to what? Yeah, like literally, like just reads his mind because Ice Cube can communicate that way.
I think his look is like
his look is intense. He can convey a lot of information, but also he put this all together in like 5 minutes. Like he gets back, it's still in the SWAT uniform. Like I think I figured out how everything's gonna go down now.
Yeah, because I'm that smart. But then he was a Navy SEAL.
Yeah,
and then my favorite thing was the nerd. He has like a whole hacker sequence where he's like. Numbers on a screen, moving a mouse, numbers, clicking the keys, multiple screens, data. It's just, and then he comes back like, I got it.
And we're like, that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. That's totally.
Because why would you not? Why would you not?
That's how you hack.
Yeah. That's how you hack.
And like, while he was hacking, Ice Cube was trying to get his ex to get her to like talk sexy about cars. And she did. So they were kind of like starting to get together, and then Hacker Dude interrupted.
Is that when he said the second best ride of my life? No, that was
the best ride of my life. So, remember all the damage we did in the backseat? Like all innuendo. I think it's a PG-13 film.
It is.
You can only go so far with the innuendo.
Ice Cube speaking sexually innuendo is just
it's really, still aggressive.
It's uncomfortable.
It's really it really is.
I'm not gonna lie, as fine as that man is, it's just like
just don't talk.
He's
to
not
like,
wooing as much as
no
he demands.
God, no. Like no.
Yeah.
And I don't. And I'm pretty sure it even wouldn't be. He could be the sweetest, like funniest person, but his stare,
his intensity,
He's perpetually has like a lip that's up when he and that to me is like that.
He always looks like he's just investigating a burning smell.
Yeah.
Like he just.
Which me personally, I love because I love that look, but I just don't know if I want him saying, "Yeah, you know what I'm saying." I know you like.
I think I do, and I wish I didn't.
Like I don't know if I want him in my ear. Like
game we're playing, but I don't want to.
Yeah. I don't. I'm okay, babe. I love you. Let's just. Whatever
you want. Leave it at that.
Yeah, just,
that's the kind of man who says I'm in charge. And like, okay.
Sure. You got it, bud.
So I'm not vegan anymore.
So they with the hack on the Department of Defense, they learn that there's an aircraft carrier on the Potomac that is carrying all of Deckert's weapons and army. Deckert discovers that Samuel L. Jackson and his platoon members, Ice Cube, goes onto the aircraft carrier and discovers Samuel L. Jackson and his other platoon members confined below deck, but is caught by Charlie, who's now wearing black leather, so that we know she's a bad guy. And then we get our first setup for a callback, which is the line, "You should have killed that bitch." Samuel L.
Samuel Jackson says that.
Yeah, because Ice Cube just only hits Charlie with he only pistol whips her, which is not enough for Samuel L.
That also felt really aggressive. I was like,
yeah,
was that improv? Like,
yeah, she really rolled punches.
I'm not gonna lie though, I kind of agree with Sam on that one. Like, in this circumstances,
she was wrong.
He should have.
Yeah.
He should have shot her, and like
should have been done with it.
Yeah, I mean, all the casualties that have occurred in saving.
This is because you didn't kill that woman.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he could. Anyway, I'm not going to tell XXX how to be XXX, but I have thoughts.
But you said you're not going to tell XXX how to do it.
Yeah.
They didn't steal me from prison to save the US. So
yeah, you didn't climb up
they didn't give you a fries and shake.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
From Wendy's.
Yeah. Baconator sounds pretty good right now. Anyway, go ahead.
So yeah, she hits the alarm, and then Ice Cube runs away, and he escapes from the aircraft carrier by driving a tank.
Yep.
And then launching that tank into another tank.
Of course.
Go.
That was a pretty cool action sequence. I like that.
That was fun.
And then now we go to DC, and it's State of the Union Day. And the president, he wants to be humanitarian. He's like, oh, we got to convert our enemies into allies, da-da-da-da-da. And Deckert wants isolationism. So, like, they're at odds. And we cut to Steele, who's just boxing, I guess sparring or whatever. He gets a call, and he's supposed to go meet up with Ice Cube in some parking garage. And Ice Cube meets up with Steele, gives him a map of the attack plan. Steele hesitates, and Ice Cube immediately walks. This is one of the few friends he has left. And he's like, you hesitated, bitch. Just walks away.
I'm out.
He doesn't have time for that kind of nonsense.
Yeah. I can't have no unenthusiastic people in my crew. So then Steele, he verifies the intel. He sees the list of names, then sees oh, it is in fact Deckert's army, which is going to be working the funeral or whatever. And then Deckert shows up to talk to him, and they're kind of suspicious of one another. So now we cut to Ice Cube, who is recruiting Exhibit and crew to stop the coup attack. They decide to stop a secret military 18-wheeler to get guns. That's where we see Bruce.
Yep.
Which they thought they were hauling cheese.
Right.
Which when they press a little button, it opens up. So they thought that an 18-wheeler was actually this wide, just storing cheese. But no, it was a bunch of guns and stuff.
Bruce. I thought it was cheese.
They did great. So then Deckert's plan is to do the coup and frame Samuel L. Jackson. Ice Cube and Exhibit jack a tank, and that's a big deal because they say, "Oh, this is the first tank."
Yeah, I like that. I was about to say, yeah, I like that.
Cool.
Pretty iconic. Yeah. And then while that's going on, the State of the Union's going on, and then the lights go out. It's basically January 6th. They all attack the Capitol, and then the attack gets
Jesus Christ.
It's called predictive programming. They have to show it in the movies before it happens in real life, so that we're more desensitized.
Jesus Christ.
So the attack gets interrupted, and we hear again the second time, "You should have killed that bitch."
Right.
And then,
of course,
after he does that, right?
He does. Yeah. Samuel L. Jackson does in fact kill that bitch. And then we learn that the president has a presidential bullet train, and that's the second instance of something that you could count as sci-fi. If for 2005, the first being the CGI drones. And I just want to point out that we have the drones now, but we still don't have bullet trains as public transportation. So we're 1 for 2.
We're getting there, yeah.
Scientific predictions from XXX. Ice Cube's chop shop girlfriend, she gives him a $500,000 car. He destroys it. Just obliterates that thing. Pursuing the bullet train. Ice Cube.
She's still in love with him.
She's still in love with him. She's
why was she not
all his flaws. Someday he'll get his life together, but not today. Nickelback.
Yeah.
So then Ice Cube, he makes it onto the train. He's getting into a fight with like Deckert's, number 2 or whatever. And then at some point, Ice Cube cuts like an airline in the picture, and then it cuts to the driver of the train.
He
He's like,
does.
we don't have brakes anymore.
Yes.
Those are
I was about to say, wait, I was about to get.
you cut the gas line and now the brakes don't work. That's
That's how that works.
Yep. the
Realistic
science.
fiction.
Realistic fiction. Yeah, it's a new thing. And then they rescue the president. They take him away on a helicopter, and they blow up the presidential bullet train with Deckard on it. He's dead. And then Steele gets a Medal of Honor. Deckard is remembered as a hero. Ice Cube is an unknown soldier who gets some kind of accolade. And then Samuel L. Jackson and the nerd are back at the base discussing the next XXX.
Right.
And that's where the film ends, setting it up beautifully for the third in the trilogy.
Yeah. I don't know how they're going to bring Vin Diesel back to it.
Well, I don't know because he's America's last hope.
And he's
over.
dead in Bora
Yeah.
Bora.
In
I don't.
Bora
I would have loved. I don't think this is the case, unless I'm wrong. But I want to see a movie now with Vin Diesel and Ice Cube.
Oh yeah.
Triple X's.
Quadruple X,
So yeah, so
quintuple or something.
Sace X
Yeah.
Hexa X.
hexagon.
X
I don't-
cubed or something.
Hex cube.
X cubed.
2X, too
Right.
furious. I don't know.
Dude,
Jeez.
I mean, with all the
Yeah,
NSA, the
like-
top secret,
Yeah,
everything is top secret in this
it's
movie.
kind of a bummer though. Like
It's all
when he drives
confidential.
off in the sunset, it shows a close up of his neck, and he got the XXX tattoo. Like,
Which
That's
is literally just like a watermark tattoo
Yeah.
that someone just
Yeah.
put on the back of his
Yeah.
neck. But yeah,
and then it goes to the next scene where Samuel L. Jackson like, let's get a new one. I'm like, dude,
he just got a tattoo. He got something permanent. He's the new guy.
Yeah, nope.
He's the new.
No, we need a new one.
You gotta
He's now America's last hope. So now what the hell are we gonna do?
right. So, thank you. That's some. I felt like I just watched the movie.
Yeah,
Okay, so-
yeah.
That was the best. We
Yeah.
can. I'm
Like,
done.
getting better at
So,
the
yeah.
summaries.
What-
I just have to turn off parts of my brain when I go to write the summary, like the part that looks for logic.
Oh
and
yeah,
coherence.
no. You
Get rid of that. Just
state the
write
facts.
what you see. Journalist Hemingway, just write this stuff down and report it.
So CJ, do you have any thoughts, any things about this movie that really jumped out to you?
No, I liked the fact that and my boy Defoe was in it, and
He was good.
he's one of my favorite actors, honestly. Besides next to
He's
Samuel L. Jackson.
fantastic.
Yeah, he's amazing, and I think that this could have been a prerequisite to some of his stuff too.
I said the
Yeah.
star before he becomes the Green Goblin.
Like
What was funny about watching Willem Dafoe in this is I was watching my girlfriend, and first time she goes on screen, and I'm sorry, this is crass, but she goes, "Oh, there's Willem Dafoe. He's going to save the day with his big old dick." And I go, what are you talking about? And I just kind of like didn't really acknowledge the first time, but then we see him again. She goes, "There he is with his big old dick." I was like, "What is wrong with you?"
what?
And she proceeds to tell me this story. So Willem Dafoe did Passion of the Christ, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, when he was doing that film, when he was up on the cross, they had to use a body double because he was so well endowed that the director was like, "This is a distraction."
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know he was.
Welcome.
So that's where that
I didn't know he was in Passion of the Christ.
Yeah, he wasn't the main.
or
he
maybe
wasn't.
the Last Temptation of Christ.
Oh,
I think that's
okay.
the one.
Okay.
Not
Yeah,
the
Jim
Passion.
Caviezel.
That's
Jim
a very
Caviezel.
different
I was
film.
like, this is
That's
very-
on me. That's on me. So-
I was like, how did I miss him in
Maybe
that?
that's why he's a goblin. Anywho, but no, I mean, honestly, it was a decent movie. I just think that Ice Cube is always when it comes to this was his right up his alley right here.
Right.
Yeah.
This was definitely right up his alley.
They were just like, Ice Cube, go improv. Just go talk to them like you would if
Yeah.
you were a secret
like I
agent.
don't even
Yeah,
know
try
if
to
they
hit these
gave
plot points. If you don't, it's fine. We'll rewrite it.
I don't even know if they gave him a script of lines. It just feels like he just said literally whatever the fuck he wanted to say.
Right.
That, and I really like when you watch it. The editing is so short. They
Yeah.
don't have like a scene or a shot that goes
No.
longer than 10 seconds because I guarantee you there was someone off script being like, "You need to say State of the Union." Nice. Got it.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
That's
I,
the line.
Yeah, I think Ice Cube walked in there and said, "Let's get one thing straight. I'm in charge.
Yeah.
You're not the director.
You're not the director. Yeah.
Like, and they're
Like he's our guy.
they were like, he's perfect.
He's our guy.
He's,
That's not a guy.
he's in character already.
Yep.
So yeah, no, I mean those are my thoughts. Like I honestly probably the coup, them doing the coup thing was probably my favorite part of it. Like
Yep.
all of that action and stuff right there. Honestly, and then him taking the mid sandwich break.
Yeah.
The
Just
mid sandwich
just
break.
to stop and just get a sandwich, or the burger. The
Yeah,
burger.
was it?
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, the burger. Like
Twice in the plot. He was
Yeah.
like, "Hold on a second, I gotta
yeah, like he did it again. He did it
Yeah.
twice. Like, hold on, I'm hungry.
Right. It was that bait and switch of like, oh, you think he's about to get,
Yeah.
sex
But
with
it's
them.
I'm
He
really
cares
hungry.
more about food than he does about,
Yeah, but no, I
Right.
honestly, I don't really. I mean, because I watched it and I was like doing a lot of other stuff, and so I was just like, wait, what's going on? And I had to go back and rewind. Like, shit.
And then I feel like also, well, the thing about this movie is there was some plot inconsistencies frequently.
Yeah.
So like I could see you as you're doing other stuff, like, wait, did I miss something? You probably didn't. It probably just you just take it for like, oh,
Yeah, because I watched it from top to bottom, so I liked it. I just thought I missed some things, except when it came to all
the
the.
script was missing things.
You know
That's
what?
that's what was missing.
You know what?
but I like
Your
it.
eyes
Okay.
are fine.
Okay, so let's rate it. Too Fast, Too Furious rating. What are we giving it?
Let's go with our illustrious guest first.
Illustrious.
Remind me how the rating scale works.
So Too Fast is you absolutely loved it. It was you best movie ever, or a best movie, or good. You really liked it. Fast is you liked it. Furious is either you didn't care or you didn't like it, and then Too Furious is you hated it and your life is less than because of it.
Yeah, I feel like again, I have to compare this to Fast 9 and Torque. This is a fast one for me because I'm not going to go watch this again.
Yeah.
Twice is enough. But like again, because I'm comparing it to Fast 9 and Torque, which don't even try to make sense, this one is surprisingly coherent.
Okay.
If I put this up against Shawshank Redemption, yeah, it's a terrible movie. But compared to Torque, there's a little bit of gray area there. And I think that's where this XXX State of the Union / XXX The Next Level fits.
Yeah.
I have to agree.
Okay.
Like I just think it was cool. I'm going with Fast,
Okay.
so I can say it on the record. I think it was cool. I think it was just it started off weird or boring for me, and that's the best way I could
Mhm.
describe it. And then the jail breakout scene was cool, but it was just very not predictable. But I was like, I bet you, I bet I knew it. The love
Yeah.
that I didn't like Charlie. She got on my nerves. He should have killed that bitch.
Yep.
She shouldn't even been in the movie. She
shouldn't
served
even been-
no
it was-
plot to the
They just wanted a cute white girl.
Yeah, she just set him up. Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
That's really what it was. Because Nona, to be honest with you, they could have used Nona for that.
That could have. She could have been the betrayer. That
She
would have been
could have been
something.
the betrayer. That would have been even a better plot.
She would have had better reason too.
Yeah, she would have had better reason. You
But then
left.
you don't have a strong woman to accept a dirtbag back into their life.
Oh, that's
for no
true. And you
reason.
have to have
You
it.
have to have that.
Or maybe they could have worked it out.
They could have. It
Like you
felt weird.
betrayed me, but I'm gonna forgive you.
Also, at the end, he
Right.
ditches her.
He ditches her after
Exactly.
destroying. He destroys one of her $500,000 cars and then just takes the other one.
Yeah, she gives him
gives
another.
it
Gives
to
him to it. Yeah.
That-
And the only other thing that I think I
Such a
would have
toxic-
wanted Bruce
Very
and Jay Anthony to be in the movie a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
I could have seen more of them.
I would a little more villainous,
Yeah.
little more villainous of them.
That or just any extras when they were actually like driving through the streets of DC.
Yeah.
Because when it was inside, it was like all these extras.
Yeah.
But when they're driving through, no one.
It's just,
No.
yeah.
No one there.
So that's my thoughts. What about you?
I am on the cusp between Fast and Furious with this one because like it was fine, and I really think I'm going to give it a Furious because I've given Fast to many of them, and I've liked like the last movie in the past couple of weeks. I've given Fast to a lot of the Riddick movies, and I enjoyed them. And this one, like I enjoyed a little bit less.
Gotcha.
So I actually
I'm not
think
mad at that.
I'm going to give it a Furious because I think if I'm trying to be objective, because what ends up happening is once we start talking about it, I enjoy talking about it with you guys, and I'm like, oh no, it was a cool movie. But if I'm thinking about it objectively, there were some fun parts to it. I absolutely enjoyed it, but
Yeah.
the parts that kind of like annoyed me were a little bit more than the parts that.
Excuse me.
So I'll give it like a Furious, but like a very high on like almost Fast.
Lowercase furious.
Yeah, a lowercase Furious.
Instead of
And unhappy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's cool.
Reluctant furious.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But-
I liked the I especially liked the plot that he just gave though.
Yeah, that was
Thank you. Yeah. Happy
somehow it
to
made more
summarize.
sense to the movie. Like, hearing the-
Yeah, again, I'm trying to make it coherent as much as I can. So
we got I have 3 scenes. We're doing Drew's best bits.
Okay.
Here's the qualifiers. These are the three most pointless characters.
Mm.
And then you're picking what I think is the most pointless of the most pointless.
Three
Okay.
most
So I guess I should rephrase it. These are pointless characters, and you're picking what's the most pointless, in my opinion.
Got it.
So, the first one, and we've already referenced. Actually, we didn't reference one of them, but we'll fix that. The first one we already referenced was Charlie's maybe date on that, like the guy that comes in and starts talking about like the
NRA Stephen Miller.
yeah, and then like
I got to find it. That's why I keep going to my phone. I'm gonna find.
He's unlisted on the.
When you see a side by side, it's haunting.
He's unlisted on the movie, but like he has such a long monologue for like what he was.
You know, Stephen Miller isn't even 40 yet.
I did not know that.
That's what hate does to you.
He looks like 240s.
He will be 40 in August. That man is not even 40 yet.
God.
That is what hate looks like.
So there's the Steve Miller lookalike. Second option is Charlie in general.
Right.
For the life of me, I kept waiting for them to explain her
Yeah.
point in the movie, and they just didn't. And then the third one, we didn't reference this guy in the plot summary, or maybe you did and I missed it, but it was Lieutenant Alabama Bama Cobbs, and he was one of the henchmen for Defoe's character.
Mhm.
There was and he often was kind of in the background, just like the bad guy, the right hand man. But then there was a scene where Ice Cube was doing cool action stuff, invading the cops and fighting, and it keeps flashing back to this guy getting so angry as if they has a personal vendetta, and his whole plan's falling through.
Is that on the aircraft carrier?
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like calling
yeah,
shots. Okay,
yeah, and he is just so upset. And the entire time I'm looking at this, I'm like, this guy. Like,
I noticed that too, because in that whole action sequence, it kept like close up on him, just like panning shot of him yelling into a walkie-talkie.
And I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he's the bad guy right now.
He's the bad guy.
Yeah. So, but now, unfortunately, in comparison to the one of the other guys as I mentioned, he is credited in this movie, and he does has a name, which is Lieutenant Bama Cobbs.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going with him.
You're gonna go with him?
I'm going with him, and the reason I'm going with him is because we don't know who he was, but we could have, because he was there a couple of times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And his name, I'm going on name, like Steel, like Dar. That Alabama must mean something. It's an army base in Alabama.
Right.
So he could Navy or anything.
So you're going with him for who you think I think is the most pointless of those three?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to go with NRA Stephen Miller, because I agree. Bama, he does have relevance because he's part of that military platoon or whatever that Stone and Gibbons were part of with Eckhart in command. So he's, I think, closer to the most central characters. Mm-hmm. If you take Charlie, she's connected to Gibbons and ultimately Stone. Mm-hmm. But her person that she was meeting with, the only thing that he does is set up Ice Cube to do that weird Southern accent. There's nothing else in he's on screen for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So I think for me, he's the most pointless. I would imagine you find it the same.
Zach is right. That's the one I picked.
Damn it!
So it's another wash. We're still I think our scores right now 6-4 or something, or 6-5 or something.
6-5.
Yeah, something like that. So that.
So I'm still in the lead?
Yeah, you're still in the lead for now.
Hey.
So. Well, that was XXX State of the Union.
Yeah, that was fun.
I want to mentally prepare our listeners for the fact that next week we're doing XXX Return of Xander Cage.
Yes.
And then the week after that, we're doing a non-Vin Diesel movie. We're jumping to SWAT. We're doing a Michelle Rodriguez movie. We're still in the Fast and Furious.
Okay.
My girl.
So yeah.
Sticking with the theme.
But just if you guys are like, man, keep those Vin Diesel movies coming.
Right.
There's a finite amount.
We're almost done.
Yeah. Or if you're like, God, please get rid of these Vin Diesel. We're hitting another one. But I've enjoyed it. I have fun with it. And
you can blame me because I chose some of these movies.
Yeah. Yeah, but it works. Anyway. Zach, is there anything you can promote for yourself? Anything you got going on in the next couple weeks?
Yeah, man. This will probably be out after it's already been done, but we've got Thank You 5 going on over at Germantown Community Theater this Saturday. We're pretty close to selling out on that show, so we got some Memphis locals that are going to be on that. I'll be hosting that show. I have a weekly mic that I run at Bell Curve Comedy. That is at Urban Consequence Brewing Company every Friday night.
I love that one.
And I have a monthly show that I'm co-producing the last Saturday of every month at Flyway Brewing Company.
Yeah, look at that.
I'm working the flyway.
Doing shows, yeah.
Yeah, well, I've heard. I've done the flyaway one. So I know firsthand that's really good, and I know that there have been concepts. I mean, I love. We've talked about this last time. Best cream soda in like in
That's
the
a salad.
world.
Oh, I love cream soda.
Oh, it's so good. If you're ever in Memphis
It's
on a
legit.
Friday night, go to Zach's Mike
Yeah, check it out.
and I get perform, but also get a cream soda, and you'll be grateful
I
for
will.
both. And then, but I've heard really good things about your. It was Thank You 5. Is that?
Thank you, Vibe. Yeah, so this will be the third show that we're doing. We sold out the last one, and then this one, like I said, we're close to selling out. Currently, we've only used local Memphis talent, but it's a quarterly show, so Q3, Q4 this year, and into 2026, I'll probably look to expand my roster and get more out of town comics. Hopefully come in, but still working on the dates with that one. So Germantown Community Theater. Follow me at Zach Williams Comedy on Instagram and TikTok. Yep. That's where I post all my stuff, so you can follow me there and hear about shows that I'm doing.
Yeah, we'll have it linked in our episode notes. We, as always, keep up with us online. If you're listening to this episode, you can go to the notes, click on any of us, and follow us on social media, our podcast on social media. There's also an option to send mail, so if maybe you have really strong opinions about Ice Cube.
Yeah, if I got anything wrong in the review of this movie, please write me a letter.
Send it in. We'll make sure Zach gets it. But listen, I hope you guys all have a wonderful time.
Don't forget they can subscribe.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're gonna want to subscribe to our podcast. We have a subscription option now. For as little as $3 a month, you'll get bonus episodes. And at this point, we have, of course, we have a big package of bonus episodes already. We just recently released a new one though. So if you remember, we just covered the Riddick series, but we learned there was so much more about Riddick. So we just did an episode on Dark Fury, the animated Riddick movie. And so Zach, you're gonna want to check that one out.
For sure. I know what I'm watching when I get home.
It's very fun.
But it's a good way to support us. It helps us do a little bit extra with the podcast. We really do appreciate everyone who listens, and we extra appreciate the people that support us. We extra appreciate our sponsors, D&D Fitness.
We really do.
And we appreciate you for listening. So listen, go out, eat some burgers and some shakes and some fries.
Yeah.
Have a great life and live your life 1/4 mile at a time.
Bye.
Adios.